Title. I presented her with divorce papers. She refused to sign, he erupted in anger, shouting that it couldn't be done because they were still married. He then told her that, in reality, she had been divorced for several years now. Hello, everyone. We're back today with another subscriber story. If you have a story to share, send it to Lessons from Life. I will display the email on the screen. Lessons from Life. Whether it's a funny story, seeking advice, or a personal journey where you overcome something, your experience can help someone else going through a similar situation. Just sharing your stories can make a difference, so don't hesitate to send them in. You've seen the title, so let's dive into it. Subject. We're divorced. Hey, Lessons from Life. I'm not sure if this fits your usual content, but I find it quite entertaining. After finishing high school in 1972, I decided to return to the South, where all my extended family lived. We had moved north for work 11 years earlier, so in 1978, feeling the time was right, I packed up my clothes, tools, and my collection of hot rod magazines. Mom and Dad were heading out of town, so I hitched a ride and settled back in the South. In 1979, I met the woman who would become my wife. She was stunning, with an amazing figure that was way beyond my means as a 19-year-old. What more could I ask for? We fell head over heels, and soon, her mother and she were planning our wedding. Within a year, we were married. Reality didn't take long to set in. During our brief marriage, I noticed her princess-like demeanor, but she was everything a young man dreams of. About 8 months into the marriage, things took a downturn. I was juggling 2 full-time jobs and doing bodywork on the side to provide everything she desired. Then, the constant complaining began to surface in a big way. Within the next 4 months, I reached my breaking point. I realized no woman was worth all the stress and moved out. She made my life miserable for another year. Even having my house raided twice for drugs, nothing was found, but it still made the local news in our small town. She was always accusing me of something and causing a lot of drama. In 1980, the recession hit our area hard with no real job opportunities, and I couldn't afford a divorce. Fast forward a year, and I moved back north for a great job opportunity. Still, the divorce was unresolved when I left. A few years later, I met someone new and we decided to get married. I hired a good lawyer and started the divorce process. I knew she was living with her sister and my cousin was nearby. Every time divorce papers were served, her sister claimed she had no idea where she was living, even with proof. This back and forth went on for about 6 months until my lawyer said enough was enough. It was clear she wasn't going to agree to a divorce because that's just who she was. Apparently, if you've made genuine efforts to serve someone, there are other options. I had to publish an announcement in a legal newspaper where I resided for a certain period, 3 months, I believe. As long as it was in a recognized legal publication, it was valid. Finally, I went to court and the judge granted the divorce. About a year later, wedding plans with my new partner were underway. I asked my cousin, who was like a brother to me, to be my best man. About a month before the wedding, my cousin was driving through a local country park, a popular spot for custom cars, trucks, and motorcycles. By chance, my ex-wife saw him and flagged him down. She began asking about me, laughing about how she had avoided being served. After a few minutes, she started inquiring about his life. He mentioned he was working and preparing to move north in a few weeks to be the best man at my wedding. She exploded, screaming that it couldn't be done because we were still married. He informed her that the divorce had been finalized a few years earlier. She was visibly upset, yelling that she hadn't granted the divorce. After a few minutes of her meltdown, she began crying and asked him to give her my contact information and where I was living. She even tried to hold his car back as he left. When he looked back, she was sitting on the roadside grass, crying. I can't even imagine how much I would have paid to see her reaction and witness that breakdown. Just in case anyone's curious, my second marriage lasted 17 years, and I have a son whom I'm incredibly proud of. My current partner and I have been together for 15 years. I love her deeply. She's truly amazing. We live together but aren't married, and I'm not sure if I ever will be again. Thanks for sharing, Randy. Keep up the great work. You're doing an awesome job. I watch every new video you release. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me share my thoughts on your story. That ending threw me off a bit when you mentioned you're not married anymore. It sounds like you might have gone through another divorce, but you're still living together with your partner and have a son. That's impressive. Statistics do show that the chances of another divorce increase after the first one, but you seem to have navigated it well. What I liked about your story is the alternative approach you took. Typically, stories involve serving papers in more confrontational or embarrassing ways, but your lawyer suggested a different route by publishing an announcement in a legal newspaper. This method worked, even back in the 80s. It's unfortunate that you had to work multiple jobs to meet her demands and still weren't satisfied. She went to great lengths to make things difficult for you, even trying to tarnish your reputation by having your house searched. When she discovered you had moved on, it was heartbreaking for her because she thrived on causing you pain. That's truly awful. Feel free to share more about your second marriage or any updates if you'd like. Otherwise, thanks again for your story. Once again, if you want to share your story, send it to Lessons from Life. I'll display the email on the screen. Lessons from Life. I'll see you all in the next video.